If you are thinking about moving to the North Dallas area, maybe an area north of Frisco, then this video is for you. Today, we're going to take you through a tradition home, one of our absolute favorite builders here in the community of Mosaic, which is in Celina, Texas. We'll talk a lot more about the community of Mosaic and Celina later on in the video. But for now, I'll just let you know that Celina is located just north of Dallas. I am Jennifer Fowler, and along with my husband and cameraman Brandon, we run Fowler Realty Team here in the North Texas area. We have people just like you reaching out to us all the time looking to make a move here. We absolutely love that. So if that's you and you're looking to move in 9 days or 9 months, give us a call, shoot us a text. All that info is in the description below. All right, so I can't wait to take you on this lovely tour of one of our favorite builders, which is Tradition Homes. So let's get to it right now. Y'all come on in. But before we talk about this house, a couple of things. Did you see the front door? I absolutely love the front doors like this with the glass. I know people can see inside your house, but I mean, honestly, who's going to be just walking by your house and staring in? Probably nobody. I am a huge fan of this front door. And another thing, which I know you can't hear it, Brandon, you can go ahead and come in. I know you can't hear it, but this is something we have found on all Tradition homes that we have taken a tour of and done videos of, and that is that there is a speaker on the front porch. So when you're walking up to your front door, there's music playing. I'm such a huge fan of that because I think it would be great for no matter what kind of party you're throwing or even just having friends over to have your themed music already playing. I can just imagine at Christmas time, you have Christmas music playing. So even, you know, your Amazon drivers, UPS, they get to have a little treat when they walk up to your door to deliver packages. So huge fan of Tradition Homes, and you are going to see why we love it so much here in just a few seconds. Okay, so y'all come on into this beautiful home. This house is around 4,800 square feet. It's a fairly large home. It has 5 bedrooms, and all of those bedrooms do have an ensuite bathroom. So you've got 5 bedrooms, 5 full bathrooms, and 2 half baths. You have a half bathroom downstairs and a half bathroom upstairs. You also have a dedicated study and a media room. We will get to all of those awesome things here in just a little bit, but first let's just go ahead and take a look at the heart of the home, which is always the favorite. You'll notice as you're walking through the home, or as we're walking through the home, this beautiful engineered hardwood floor is going to flow throughout. One thing I noticed right off the bat when we walk into this house, this model home, is it just feels very homey. Every Tradition home I've ever been in, that's one of the first things we say is it already feels like home from the moment you walk in. I love the light colored walls, all the windows you can already see. The foyer is actually quite wide, and on the other side of Brandon over here, you have this little nook, great for, I like how they have a bench here so your guests can have somewhere to put their purse, or at Christmas, a nice tree could go there. Really, you seriously could have a tree that, yes, goes as high as you could possibly get it. Beautiful chandelier that's hanging over the front door. So the foyer alone is just beautiful and worth talking about and worth mentioning. But I do like that once you start to come into this section over here, you have a little bit of a drop ceiling. So just gives it some visual effect. I like how it drops a little bit right here in this spacious section right here. I suppose if you wanted to, you could put something over here on this wall, a nice hutch or buffet. There's plenty of room for that. Otherwise, it's just a really nice, spacious area. But let's go ahead and head to the heart of the home, which is always going to be the kitchen. We'll take a look at the living room in just a minute, but we always have to take a look at the kitchen first because this one is very impressive. One of my favorite designs is this kitchen, and I'll tell you why I really like this design of this kitchen. A couple of reasons. It really is a very spacious kitchen. And what I like about this one is you do have a lot of counter space here. There's a lot of prep space. You have a large island. But what I really like about the layout of this kitchen is it just keeps going and keeps going this way. Normally, you would maybe have an opening here to a dining room or something like that. But what I like about this is you still have your little buffet area. They have a wine fridge here, and your pantry is off to the side. It's completely tucked away. You don't even see the pantry door from the living room or from this area of your kitchen. So I like that all of this space, your coffee bar, maybe you could have your wine over here as well, is kind of tucked away, but yet it's a lot of prep space over here. You'll notice the beautiful quartz countertop. I like the veining in here. It's a little bit of gold or brown veining, but then there's a little bit of gray. You can barely see it, but there's a little bit of gray throughout here as well. So you can pick up gray tones and brown tones as well. Notice the color of the cabinets are not stark white. They're a pretty, I call it oyster color, but they're a very soft color with, you've got gold and silver, some mixing metals. Go ahead and do it. Take a chance, do it. It's really fun. So another thing I talk about in a lot of my videos is homes like this, a traditional home, is going to be semi-custom. You are going to go to the design center and pick out all your finishes. So when you do that, pick out what you absolutely love, but also keep in mind resale. So you might not want to have a backsplash that is maybe hot pink or bright orange because it just might not sell very well. But one thing that I would encourage you to do is to make sure that your backsplash goes all the way up to the ceiling. And I like here how they even have it the window encased with a tile and with the countertop as well. I always say to do that. Take it all the way up to the ceiling. It just gives it a more luxurious look and a more finished look. And another tip, which this house is a little bit more traditional, but if you wanted a traditional home to have a little bit more of a modern feel to it, you could take the same subway tile, which I like how they did a subway tile that has some texture to it, but you could take this tile and stack it instead of staggering like they did. You would just stack the tile so your grout line would go all the way down like this. It just gives it a more modern look, and I'm a huge fan of modern and traditional in the same space. I like how they kept this beautiful island natural. We're seeing a lot of wood tones come back, and these kinds of wood tones, not necessarily the yellow oak that we used to see back in the 90s, but this wood tone is definitely making a comeback, and I'm here for it. Of course, you're going to have a beautiful island. This one does have a sink in it, and once again, notice you have this nice light gold. It's almost a brushed gold. It's a really pretty color with two beautiful large pendants hanging over the island. Plenty of seating here, and also notice what they've done here. Seating on the end as well, so you can fit plenty of people around the island. You know what this reminds me of, hun? This reminds me of the hibachi grills. You know, right. When you go to those restaurants and they cook in front of you and everyone's around the table, that's kind of what this reminds me of. Yeah. But, you know, everyone can see each other and talk. So I love this. This is really nice. So in this tradition home, sometimes you'll find a fireplace in the kitchen. It just depends on the model and maybe even the neighborhood. But this tradition home, the fireplace is in the living room, not here. But what I love about this space, this breakfast space, is really you could say it's a breakfast nook, but it's large enough for a dining table for sure. This is a fairly large round table. You could put a few more chairs in here if you wanted to. But that doesn't come with the home. So what I do love about this is pretty much all three walls are windows. There's really not a lot of wall space in here or walls. It's a lot of windows. So once again, Natural light is just pouring into the space, and it just feels so happy. So like I mentioned earlier, Celina is just north of Dallas. Actually, you have Dallas, Frisco, Prosper, and then Celina. Celina is about 40 or 45 minutes from Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport. So it really is in a great location if you commute every now and then. With Celina being just north of Dallas and north of Frisco, which has become an extremely popular place to live, Celina is actually becoming one of the fastest growing cities in all of North Texas. Seriously, it is growing at a very rapid pace because you have to know that Dallas, is very built out. So it pushed everybody up to Frisco, which pushed all the building up to Prosper, which from my understanding, Prosper is about 95% built out. So now all the building is going up to Celina, which is where we are right now. And stick with us because in just a little bit, we're going to talk more about the schools, the amenities, and things like that that are part of this neighborhood. But for now, let's take a look at my second favorite room, which would be the living room. And before we move on to the living room, one thing I really like about the design of this home as well is the placement of this door. So instead of having this wall come all the way out here and then it squares off, which is what you're normally going to see, but instead this is on a 45-degree angle, which it just gives more space in this area right here, which, hey, we have up to 40 people in our home for Easter, so we need all the space that we can get. But let's head over here to the living room, and one of my favorite things about every living room that we go into is going to be the fireplace, and this one does not disappoint. This beautiful stone goes all the way up to the ceiling. And while we're talking about the ceiling and looking at the ceiling, Brandon, show them the detail of the ceiling here. The painted beams, but it's not just one or two painted beams. It's the entire space up there. It's very tall. It's beautiful. I love the energy that this room gives. And this chandelier, while it's very big, the chandelier is very big. It visually doesn't take up a lot of space. So they did a really good job with that. But I just wanted to point out this fireplace because it is very pretty. You have natural stone here that's more traditional, but I also like what they've done here that gives it a little bit more of a modern touch. And of course, a nice hearth. I love seeing a fireplace that has a hearth. Then over here, you have one of my favorites, and I love to show you this every time we go into a home, and that would be I always call them sliding doors.
They are sliding doors. You call them accordion doors. They're sliders.
Okay, they are. Yeah. See, I got it right this time. They are sliders. Oh, this one's actually easy to open. Actually, it's easy until we get to about here, and then it starts to get a little bit more difficult. Actually, this was the easiest one that I've ever opened. You guys have to put in the comments what you think about these sliding doors. It's really warm out here today, so I'm not going to keep it open too long. But man, it just lets the inside out and the outside in. This is one of my favorite things about a lot of the houses that we go in are these sliders. I'm a huge fan, and I would say if you can do it, definitely do it. So anytime you're going to look at model homes or you are considering new construction, make sure that you take your realtor with you on the very first visit. We work with a lot of builders that absolutely love realtors. There are also a few that might not let you have representation if you don't bring your realtor with you on the very first visit. So make sure that you do that, because it is very important that you have someone helping you navigate new construction. There are a lot of things that go on with new construction. We have a client right now that we saved the deal, and if they hadn't had representation, they wouldn't be getting their home. So we think it's very important that you do that on your first visit. If you're driving around and you find yourself in town and you're driving past a neighborhood, give us a call. We'll meet you there. Right off of the kitchen and living room, you're going to have your master bedroom. As soon as you walk into this room, once again, it's a light, bright, and inviting, and just the right size. You have this bay window area over here off to the side, a lot of light, a lot of windows. And I will tell you this, surprisingly, about 70 to 80% of home buyers, whenever they are picking out things for their house, if they have the option of having a bench seat here, they actually prefer that. So keep that in mind, because remember, resale, resale, resale. You want to put things in your home that the next homeowner would love or would like.
You know, if you think about it and you don't have the bay window, the bench right there, you would pull that forward probably another 2 to 3 feet. And so you're losing square footage in your bedroom. So it would actually feel smaller in here if you didn't have the bay window.
That's right. If the window went here,
yeah,
instead of the bay. Yes.
Right.
Yeah, it really would. It would cut it. Yeah. It does open up the room. Yes. And the windows, the tall windows. And you'll notice these windows, actually, I just kind of noticed this, that the two on the ends open, but the two in the middle don't. So what I love about that is there's no lines in the window. And so it's just a clear view to this beautiful backyard. So over here on this side, you do have a nice king size bed with 2 nightstands. Once again, wallpaper on the wall. Always do something on that wall. I say it in every single video. You can go back and look at all my videos, and every time I'm going to tell you that you need to put wallpaper behind your bed, okay? And if you don't like it in 5 years, you just put another wallpaper over it.
If you don't like
it's
it
okay.
In 6 months, change it, because you've done that.
I have done that. I think I have 4, possibly 5 different types of, he's counting of wallpapers in our house, because it's just so fun, and it's really kind of also a representation of who you are and what you like. So I say do it. And even on a house like this where you have a ceiling, a tray ceiling, why not put wallpaper right up there in the ceiling as well, or something, or a different paint color? Just do it. It's fun. And speaking of fun, I really like this chandelier. So my husband won't let me have one because we need a fan in our room, because it does get hot in Texas. But
yes, it does.
I'm a huge fan of not having a fan. But let's go ahead and go into this bathroom, because you are going to love this one as well. I already like it. There's a few things I just love about this. I like that the vanities are separated. So you do have dual sink, dual vanities. Everybody does have their own space. They kept the colors in here light and bright. Once again, this is the same cabinet color that's in the kitchen. Your countertops are just a little bit different. The veining in here is a lot thicker, so just changes it up a little bit, but still pretty similar to what's in the kitchen. And this is just a design choice, really, but the wall sconces, I really like the touch of the wall sconces on the side here, but yet you still have overhead lighting as well. You've got the gold and the gold here. Couple of windows behind the standalone tub, which is behind Brandon. And speaking of standalone tubs, if you have the option to have a standalone tub versus a built-in, go with the standalone tub. A couple of reasons why. Most people like it. Visually, it's just more appealing. Visually, it is, well, actually, not just visually, but you actually do get more space in your bathroom having a standalone, because otherwise the surround would be pretty chunky. But really, it's going to be your preference. You might want a surround so you can put your glass of wine or your TV or something, or a candle. But this also, to me, doubles as a beautiful art piece. I just think they're really pretty. Absolutely. Don't you, hun? Yeah. We're a big fan of the standalone tubs. So let's talk a little bit about this area of the bathroom. You do have a nice walk-in shower, which you can walk around in pretty easily. But what I want to show you, because most showers with tradition, they are going to be a good size. But what I like what they did here, and I would suggest you do the same when you're at the design center, is to take the tile that's in the shower and then went ahead and started it here on this wall. And remember earlier I talked about the subway tile and stacking it. So this one, they turned it and it's stacked as well, even though there's a little border in between, but I'll show you in just a minute. So they have the tile that goes all the way around, even up here, okay, encasing this doorway, and it's still going in this area all the way up to the ceiling. Guys, take your tile all the way up to the ceiling. It really finishes it out and just looks Really good. And then you've got a different tile here on the floor, but once again, it goes all the way to the ceiling. So what I want to show you is how they have this tile. Now they did turn it, but it's stacked. It's not staggered. So this just gives it a little bit more of a modern look, because I don't know, I couldn't imagine having this much tile staggered. I think it would be too much. So I really like how they kept the lines clean here and they stacked it. So they did a really good job on this bathroom. Okay, before we head, or as we're heading into the closet and then the rest of the house, I don't think I mentioned the price point. So in this neighborhood of Mosaic, the tradition homes start in the low 900s. Now, I will tell you, as of the making of this video, this is phase 1. There will be 5 phases here in Mosaic, so plenty of opportunities to build. However, with each phase, prices will increase because the land increases. So just know that right now, the base price for homes, the tradition homes in this neighborhood, start in the 9s. Now this one, the base price is probably a little bit higher. But as you see this house with the finishes that you see in it, the floor, the tile, everything is a little over $1.2 million for this home. All right, so let's go ahead and head into the closet. Beautiful closet, plenty of space like always. But what I want to show you, which is something we're seeing with a lot of our higher end builders such as Tradition Homes, is the laundry room right off of the closet. So yes, there's always going to be access from the hallway as well, but it's attached to the closet here in the master bedroom for convenience, and I'm a huge fan of that. So let's go ahead and take a look at this one and see what they chose to do here. The floor. Let's just take a look at the floor for a minute, because I'm a big fan of brick and I like painted brick as well. So good job here on the floor. Just a little bit of a design here. I say in your laundry room, it's a fairly small space. Most laundry rooms are, so do something fun in there. Why not go all out and do something fun in your laundry room? They painted the cabinets here this pretty blue. It's not black. It almost has a slight blue tint to it. It's a really beautiful laundry room. Then that takes you right back out to the hallway, and this side is what would be the garage, but this is our sales center, so we won't go back there. We're going to go this way past the half bath that we talked about earlier that's downstairs. Got a little bit of a mudroom going on over here with the built-in shelves, which is nice. So everything's tucked away after school. It's not by the front door. It's not thrown on the floor. Everybody's going to put their stuff exactly where it belongs, right? Because that's what kids do naturally. So that's why that's there, because they're going to just put it away like they're supposed to. And then you're right back out here into the heart of the home, the living room and the kitchen. Okay, so we obviously are still downstairs. You can see the living room behind me. So what else is downstairs? You've already seen the kitchen, the living room, the master bedroom, the laundry room, but there is another bedroom downstairs, the study, and this media room. I like that the media room is downstairs, because if you have a home this size, because you have a larger family, well, what happens when they all start moving out and your media room's upstairs? You have to go upstairs all the time. So I'm a huge fan that they kept the media room on the main level downstairs. We actually have some clients that was kind of a deal breaker for them, because they did need a larger home for now, but not forever. And so they knew that at some point the media room was going to be just for them too. And so they wanted it to be downstairs. So good job on that. Fun carpet. I like the plaid carpet. The nice blue walls with the sconces, good amount of space in here. There's 2 double doors to close it off, so it makes it a little bit more soundproof. But let's go ahead and take a look and see what else we have downstairs. Let's take a look at the study. I'm always a fan of home offices and model homes. They always do such a good job of them. Love the built-ins back here, and that they chose to do wood back here. It's a really pretty wood tone countertop. You've got built-ins at the front of the home, so you can kind of see what's going on in the front yard. Beautiful windows, right by the front door as well. And then right behind Brandon, you've got 2 glass double doors to close it off for some privacy. And there is a bedroom downstairs. I love having not just the master bedroom downstairs, which I understand that if you're from California, you find it a little odd that we have our master bedrooms downstairs for the most part. That's just the way it is here in Texas. A lot more buyers that we have found actually prefer to have that bedroom downstairs than upstairs. But I like that there's a second bedroom downstairs because you really just never know who's going to be living with you and when, or if you have guests that can't climb the stairs. So this is a really good size. I would say this would be a guest bedroom. It's actually a really good size room. This is a queen size bed, easily could fit a king size bed in here. Then it has its own ensuite. Remember, we talked about how all of the bedrooms here have their own ensuite bathroom, but this one is a little bit more spacious than some of the other ones upstairs. It's nice and long. And if you can do this, if your builder allows you to do this, do not put a bathtub in your bedroom that's downstairs, in your guest bedroom that's downstairs. Keep it like this open to where anybody can get inside. If it's a bathtub and you maybe have aging parents living with you, it might be difficult for them to get in and out. So we say keep the one downstairs a shower. And let me show you one more time what they did to the tile. Extremely traditional tile. This is probably the most basic tile shape you can get.
Right.
But what I like is it isn't flat. It has a little bit of texture to it. It's actually all not the same color either. So you can tell that it's just a little, each one's slightly different. But once again, they stack the tiles. So you take something traditional, you change it up just a little bit, and it really does make a big difference. So Mosaic is a master plan community here in Celina. So basically, being a master plan community, it's going to have a lot of amenities for the residents that live here. So just to name a few, it's got pools, a lazy river. Yes, a lazy river. How cool is that? A dog park, fitness center, bike trails, walking trails, nature trails. It's got 100 acres of green space. There's events. So that is what a master plan community is. It's going to have a lot of things that you need here in this neighborhood. There's also an elementary school that's currently being built here in the neighborhood of Mosaic. And speaking of schools, while we're going down this hallway to look at a couple of the other bedrooms, speaking of schools, this neighborhood, even though it's in Celina, Texas, is going to be a zone for Prosper ISD. So Prosper ISD currently has 3 high schools and they're working on the 4th one. So it is definitely growing. And remember, all that growth is eventually going to be pushed up to Celina. And so speaking of growth, like I mentioned earlier, Prosper is pretty much all built out, but Celina is still growing by leaps and bounds. In fact, they just opened up an H-E-B, which is an amazing grocery store chain that's really located more in the south part of Texas, but has finally made their way up to us, and we absolutely love it. Everybody just raves about H-E-B. Costco just came here, Lowe's, there's a lot that's coming here. And really, I say a lot that's coming here, but there's the Gates of Prosper that's just a few minutes from Celina as well. So there's really a lot of conveniences that are still close by, but it's just growing. So I say that because now is the time, especially in Celina, when you see a new community like Mosaic that's just in phase 1, if you are considering living in Celina, now is the time, because as each phase is growing, the prices grow as well. So new construction homes like this, especially when you have choices and you get to go to the design center, can take several months to be completed. So if this is something that you are considering, now would be the time to come take a visit. Let's tour these homes together and see how long it's going to take and lock in that price rather than waiting till you're ready to move, because it really can take a while for these homes to be built. Before we leave this cute pink bedroom, they did a really good job on this. The color is fabulous. I want to show you the tile really quick on this bathroom. Normally I don't point these out in the ensuite bathroom, so I just have to show you this one because it's really cool. I love it. So this tile is textured. You can actually feel the little dots on this tile. And once again, they took it all the way up to the ceiling. This one is a shower, but some of the other bathrooms do have a tub, so don't worry. There are options to have a bathtub or a shower only in the bathrooms. And of course, with a tradition home, you are going to get a nice covered patio. This one is a great size. It's low. I think I'm more of a fan of the lower ceilings here in the outdoor patio than I am of the super tall ceilings. Also room out here for our fire pit because look, it does get a little chilly here in North Texas, mostly hot, but it does get a little bit chilly as well. And one thing I maybe didn't mention, because we get asked this question all the time when we're on Zoom calls with our out-of-state clients, is amenities when it comes to Walmart, Target, and grocery stores. And I mentioned it a little bit, but I just wanted to let you know that in Celina, which is close to Prosper, there are plenty of conveniences nearby, such as Target, Walmart, grocery stores, restaurants. So even though it might feel like you're in the country just a little bit, because remember, Celina is still growing, there are plenty of things to do nearby. So we've got two videos that you have to go back and take a look at. And that's one that's all about Celina, and the other is all about Prosper. So go back, take a look at those two, and we'll see you on the next one.